this whole concept of human systems and business systems. You got your people process, and you got your the people excellence and the process excellence. With your heart on this, why is it important to you and your leadership team at MiTek Industries with regard to what it means to be human? How we have to start there with the human spirit, define what it means to be human, know that every person is worth infinitely more than all the money that MiTek Industries will ever make. And why do we come up with this? Where's the profit in that? Tom, I mean, what's happened to you? Have you gone nuts? Is this a nonprofit organization? Is this a philanthropic organization you're running? Are you really in it for business results? What's this people stuff? So I wanted them to hear your heart, because I love your heart. Why is it so important for you? And what are you doing with it at MiTek Industries and your leadership team? Why is it important to all of you? Why are you leading with that? Because we lead with something. We're going to lead with profits. Profits first. Or we lead with people first. Why do you do that? Let me hear your heart.
Well, 1,000 things run through my head when you ask it that way. And there's a saying, more is caught than taught. And
I like that. Say it again.
Yeah, more is caught than taught.
Yes.
And my dad and I were very close, and I got to work for him, with him, and for him,
right,
for about 3.5 years. And the whole time I was there, everybody wondered, what is he doing here? It was in the post office. I was a letter carrier in the post office. I was an accountant, but there were no accounting jobs and in the post office, so I was a letter carrier and wondering, what am I doing here? And I believe there was a reason for that. And I caught a lot in 3.5 years. And I watched my father, who came up through the ranks, as I did with MiTek, and he came up through the ranks, and I saw the genuine respect that people had for him. Letter carriers, clerks, supervisors, everybody had this, because he empathized. He had empathy. He had been there and done that. And he understood when maybe somebody who was a bit more of a high command, high control, I'm thinking of the postmaster in that post office at the time. Right. My father was the superintendent of mails. And observing that when the high command, high control postmaster was saying, make them work another 2 hours of overtime, and my father would know better, and he would know how to treat people. So I learned about the importance and value of people early on. There's so many sayings, how I like to talk about those things. Somebody on their deathbed doesn't say, I wish I would have spent one more day at the office.
Right.
They say, I wish I would have spent more time with my family, my children, my grandchildren, my friends. I call my direct reports, I call them my CEL. And CEL stands for Core Encouragement Legacy Leaders.
Wow.
Legacy is huge. Our business unit leaders, we call them bulls. Business unit legacy leaders, because it's about what you leave. It's about that wood pile, as my Texas friend would say. Leave the wood pile a little higher than the way you found it.
I love that.
That's legacy. Our number one key business imperative is to focus on our people.
Right.
Number two is exceptional financial performance. We don't list them this way. You helped me with that, Jack. We list them in a continuum, in a flywheel, because it's not an either or proposition.
Right.
We don't say we're either going to focus on people or we're going to focus on profits.
Right.
We don't say that.
Right.
We believe it's the genius of and, as Jim Collins would say in his books. The genius of and. We focus on our people and we deliver exceptional financial performance. I know my fiduciary responsibility. I never lose sight of that.
Right.
But it's not an either or proposition.
Yes. Right. Beautiful.